want to thank you guys. It still does not seem real at all. And we have hands down the best team in Plexus. I mean, honestly, we really do. So I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate you and I love you. And yeah, I'm going to make another video soon when I get a little bit of my voice back. But in the meantime, I just wanted to say that.
Well, yeah, Jana's been a little under the weather today. So just keep her in your prayers. Just to get us started, if you guys are new to the Zoom calls, let me just kind of tell you all how this rolls. And I'm going to push everybody. I'm going to mute everybody when it's your turn to talk. So Kim and Sharon, and they know how this goes, just unmute yourself before you start talking. Up in your top right corner, there's a button that says speaker view or gallery view. If you want to be focused strictly just on who's speaking, turn it to speaker view. If you want to see everybody and occasionally get a little chuckle if someone falls asleep, put it on gallery view. Anyways, and then the chat feature down at the bottom of your screen, let's kind of hold off on using that too much during the call, just because it can get distracting for those speaking and for those listening. So we'll hold off on using that too much. And then at the end of the call, if we have time, we'll open it up for questions. Okay? I'm going to ask my friend Sabrina Sparks. Sabrina and I went to college together, and I just love her to pieces. I'm going to ask her to open us in prayer. And then Jana, if you would introduce our guest for this evening.
Okay, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for this time that we have together. We thank you for this team, and we thank you for the leaders that you've given us. Lord, I pray that you'll bless each one of us on this call tonight and give us fruits to our labor. Lord, just please help us to listen to what Jana and Amber have to give us tonight and help us to apply it to our business so that we may glorify you in everything that we do. Thank you so much for the time we have together, and most of all, thank you for everything you've done for us, and thank you for loving us. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, guys. I'm super excited about tonight. We have two guest speakers, and I don't want to steal their thunder, so I'm not going to tell you everything about them. I'm going to let them tell you a little bit more about themselves. But one of them, Sharon, I don't know that I've officially met Sharon, but I feel like I know her because I've heard so many good things about her. And so I want to introduce Sharon first. Hang on, let me read this. Okay, so I'm sorry, I wanted to read the message. And so Sharon, I want you, if you will, tell us a little bit first about what you do, what your title is, and then Sharon is going to take about 20 minutes and really feature our products and tell us some great details about our products.
Hi, my name is Sharon Krahn, and I am a traditional naturopath. I live and work in Dallas, Texas, and I have a wellness center here. I've been here for about 10 years. And just a little background, Kim and I met because we were both homeschool moms. Our girls played volleyball together, and I asked Kim to do some work for me back when I was teaching for another doctor. And I really liked Kim. She's a get-it-done girl. And so we had to count the other day. I think we've worked together 6 years before she went full-time Plexus. And it's been really good. She brought Plexus to my attention, and I knew it was an MLM, and just the nature of my business, I get hit up all the time to do something. And I told her, keep it out of the office. Don't do it. You'll regret it. And that's not what happened. But she did keep it out of the office. And finally, eventually, I came to her after I'd seen it cross my desk enough times. And I said, bring your Plexus in. We're going to test it. And I do a special kind of testing with a computer system. And I had just had a lot of experience with the ProBio 5 with a lot of my clients. And that's actually why I joined Plexus. I was just really impressed with the products. I didn't need another good product, but I was also very interested in the business end of it, because as a naturopath, I don't get paid unless I'm sitting across the desk from a client. And I wanted what you call mailbox money. So Plexus is my mailbox money now. So I joined August 31st of 2015, and I'm now a Gold Ambassador. So, and I'm going to tell you about the products tonight. You want me to just go on straight into the products, Jana?
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that'll be a great idea.
Okay. So what I'm going to tell you tonight is just an overview of all of the Plexus products. And I think it's all compliant, but it's from a naturopath's point of view. So it is what I understand based on my education and knowledge about each of these products. And what I've done is I've broken down the products line to tell you 3 things about each product: what it does, how it works, and what, in my opinion, is the most fabulous part of each product. So get ready, hang on to your hats. I'm going to try to be very conscientious about the time. So as a company, we all know that Plexus is all about gut health, inflammation, and immune system support. And those 3 things may seem very different, but they're actually very synergistic because, for one thing, your gut is your second brain. Okay, so if you think about embryonic development, when a fertilized egg begins to grow into a baby, the brain develops, the spinal cord grows off of it, and then the gut goes on. And it is your second brain. Neurotransmitters are secreted in your gut, and that's your happy, that's your relaxation, that's your pleasure center. That's where a lot of the emotions and the feelings that we have come from. Alzheimer's is now known as diabetes type 3. So what does that tell you about brain health? It's all about blood sugar, gut health, okay? 70% of your immune system is there, guys. And we all hear it now. It's in the gut. If you look at inflammation, inflammation is what precedes all disease. There is no disease that is not preceded by inflammation. Anything that ends in itis, arthritis, gastritis, whatever, that's inflammation of blah, 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 right? But if you're disinflamed, this is what's going to happen next. It's just going to be a different place for every person. Hold on. I'm sorry. My dog keeps scratching at the door. Let me let. Sorry about that. She'd keep doing it and I wouldn't be able to think if I didn't go get her. Okay, so those 3 things work really well together, right? We've got the gut health, the inflammation, the immune system support. Another really cool thing I love about the whole products line is that it's gluten-free, and now it's MTHFR friendly. So for those of you who don't know what MTHFR is, forget you ever heard it. For those of you who've done 23andMe or you know about genetic SNPs, then you know this is a big deal. So this is really a very usable product line for lots of people, even people who may not be able to. They may tell you, oh, I react to everything. Well, Plexus is probably their best bet because it's very well made. So let's start with the body cream. Of course, the body cream, it's a very unique cream. It's got the algae in it, and it also has activated charcoal. You know, activated charcoal is what they give you for food poisoning when you go to the hospital. Why? Because it binds to toxins. It's going to bind to whatever's in your stomach and carry it out. When you put it on your skin, it helps to pull out toxins from your skin. And the algae is really good too. It gets into the skin through the aloe, right? So aloe is something that we use for burns, but I actually make my own skincare line, and I've based all mine in aloe. So I knew exactly when I saw this body cream, I was like, oh, that's a really well-formulated cream, because aloe is a transportation system. If you look at any skin cream and it says water, alcohol is the first ingredient, it's junk. That does nothing for you. If you get your hand wet, what happens to that water? It beads up on the skin. Well, what's it delivering into your skin? Not much. Aloe actually penetrates up to 7 layers deep in the epidermis. So it's going to deliver the nutrients really well. It's also going to help draw out toxins very well. So love the body cream. But moving on. I really want to get to the nutritional supplements. That's my heart and soul. So let's start with Slim. Number one, what it does. It balances blood sugar, whether your blood sugar is high or low. If you're insulin resistant, which is pre-diabetic or full-blown diabetic, or you're hypoglycemic, meaning you tend to faint or get lightheaded or headaches if you miss a meal or food is late. It reduces sugar cravings, supports healthy blood pressure, cholesterol, and lipids. The way it does all of this, how it works, is using chromium. Chromium is a mineral that really helps to balance blood sugar, okay? Whether it's high or low. Again, it just, rather than going through your day like this, you're going to kind of go through your day like this. If you're somebody who gets sleepy after you eat, or hangry if you miss a meal, you got blood sugar issues. So chromium is going to help support healthy blood sugar. Alpha lipoic acid is another ingredient. It's a potent antioxidant, so it's really going to help energize you. And then there's the green coffee bean extract, which is chlorogenic acid. And it's a really interesting ingredient. It helps to affect blood pressure by strengthening blood vessels. So if you have high blood pressure, it's going to help balance that. It also has a very weak, what's known as a psychostimulatory effect, which means it's kind of a pick-me-up, but it's not nearly as potent as caffeine because the coffee beans aren't roasted. And I guess there's just more caffeine in coffee, but with the green coffee bean, it's more the chlorogenic acid that you're looking at. And overall, the Slim doesn't have nearly as much caffeine as a cup of coffee. So for weight loss, chlorogenic acid that's in green coffee is thought to affect how the body handles blood sugar and metabolism. It also has the Garcinia cambogia, which is an appetite suppressant. Most fabulous part of Slim is that there's no artificial sweetener. They use stevia and lohan fruit. The beetroot is what makes it pink, but did you know that beet is also a blood and lymph purifier? Now, the amounts that are in there aren't going to substitute for a serving of beets, but it's a step in the right direction. And it's also gluten-free, soy-free, and vegan. Love that. Moving on to ProBio 5. What it does, it provides immune support. It aids in digestion of proteins and fiber. It helps relieve gut inflammation from poor diet and chronic illness. How it works? Well, there are 5 diverse strains of good bacteria, and one of those is actually yeast, and that's why it says on the bottle that it has yeast. It's not Fleischmann's or baking yeast that you use for bread. It's actually a strain called Saccharomyces boulardii. And the reason you want that in there is because it plays nicely when somebody's on antibiotics. Normally, if you take probiotics while you're taking antibiotics, you're really wasting your probiotics because the antibiotics don't discern good or bad bacteria. They kill everything. So Saccharomyces boulardii actually are not killed by antibiotics. So it survives, helps replenish your gut with good bacteria. Another one is Bacillus coagulans, and they're spores, and they really colonize and replicate very well. So as far as making it through the gut, the Bacillus coagulans are fabulous. It's got grapeseed extract, which is immune support, and vitamin C, which is an anti-inflammatory, as well as immune support, and an antimicrobial, meaning it kills harmful bacteria and viruses. It also has enzymes in it, and that's really important. So the enzymes that are in there help to break down leftover food like proteins and fibers, and it helps avoid gut inflammation. And then the B6 helps support adrenal function, and it's important for a lot of metabolic processes. And the most fabulous part is, of course, the survivability of the bacteria into the intestines. I don't care how many, when you have a probiotic, it'll have CFUs, and it'll say 1 billion, 2 billion, 35 gazillion trillion. It doesn't matter how many CFUs are in there at the date that it's manufactured. What matters is how many are in there when you swallow it and how many of those actually make it all the way to your gut. That's a big deal. And it doesn't take a gazillion. You only need $1 million, $2 million, if it's a really well formulated product. Probio 5, of course, is the product that got my attention because I test a lot of probiotics, and this one's hands down the best as far as a multi-strain probiotic. There's 2 billion CFUs per capsule, and it's just formulated quite well. So an interesting thing to note about probiotics, if people say, oh, I don't need probiotics, don't necessarily believe them, because if they have a weight problem, they need probiotics, okay? I think it was Harvard Medical School several years ago did this research study, and they showed that if you take any obese person, put them on antibiotics, they're gonna lose weight. You take them off antibiotics, and they're gonna put weight on. Why is that? Because the antibiotics kill the bacteria. Anyone who's obese probably is taking in too many carbohydrates most of the time. Okay, most people do that anyway. I don't care what your weight is. But and they're lacking good bacteria, they got similar results when they put obese people on probiotics. Why? Because it's helping to balance the good flora. Probiotics don't kill bacteria. They outnumber them. They make the pathogenic or harmful bacteria have to compete for resources, and they're not real good at that, so they tend to die off more quickly, and that's why probiotics are so good with infections. BioCleanse. There's a saying in my line of work, death begins in the colon. And I ask people all the time, how many times a day do you have a bowel movement? If you do not have a bowel movement every time you eat, guess what? You're constipated. You could have 10 pounds of poop in you and not know that there's a problem, okay? BioCleanse helps to oxygenate the body. It supports bowel regularity. It enhances weight loss. It improves energy. It also helps alkalize the body. How it does that is using not just the magnesium hydroxide, but it also has vitamin C and sodium bicarbonate, which are alkalizers. And disease can't grow in an acidic environment, by the way. So that's an important thing. Magnesium hydroxide, the way that works, people think it's a laxative, and it's not. It's a mineral. But what it does is it draws water into the intestines, and it helps to stimulate the contraction of the large intestine, so it kind of irritates it, and so waste just moves through the intestines more effectively, and that's how magnesium works. You can't overdose on it. You're not going to hurt yourself with magnesium. You might get the runs, and that would be about it. Most fabulous part of BioCleanse is that it relieves constipation in a non-habit forming way, and it's used also to treat symptoms caused by too much stomach acid, such as heartburn, upset stomach, or indigestion. That's why a lot of times, when my kids would come to me and say, oh, my stomach hurts, I'd tell them, well, you just need to go poop. And it's true for a lot of people. A lot of stomach aches could be helped, and BioCleanse, really helps, because you're helping to take down too much acid, and you're helping to move the waste out. Okay, Accelerator. Weight loss increases energy from day one. What it does, it boosts the weight loss, it boosts your metabolism, it increases energy, suppresses appetite, and it speeds up weight loss in fat and inches. And it's got synergistic benefits that help increase the effectiveness of the pink drink. How it works, okay, you've got several ingredients here. Yerba mate, of course, is an extract from a leaf, and it is a stimulant, but it's got about a third of the amount of probably a fully loaded cup of coffee. The hygienamine is an extract from tangerine peel, and it's also a mild stimulant, but not the kind that makes your heart race. The hordenine is a naturally occurring substance that you find usually, I think, in barley is where it comes from. And research shows that it has a thermogenic effect, meaning it's going to speed up your metabolism. It's going to make all the metabolic properties in your body just work a little faster. But what's really cool about Accelerator, and why most people don't get the heart palpitations or the heart racing, is because of the hawthorn berry extract. Hawthorn berry is cardiovascular protective. It really balances your blood pressure. It's also used to reduce anxiety. It's used as a sedative for some people. It's also known, I learned it as heartwort when I was in herbology. So hawthorn berry really helps balance this formula out. It has 5-HTP in it. 5-HTP is a precursor for serotonin, and serotonin is what makes you happy. And a lot of that is made in your second brain, your gut. It doesn't all just happen in your head. So 5-HTP is, it's a big deal for a lot of people. It improves sleep and mood. And then green tea leaf extract is a potent antioxidant, and it's also metabolic support. It keeps your energy up. And then it has nutrients in there that help support energy production, mainly B vitamins. Most fabulous part about Accelerator is that you're not going to get jittery or nervous. It doesn't promote muscle loss, because a lot of people take stimulants and they start burning and it's muscle that they're losing. And that's not how Accelerator works. And it nourishes the body rather than throwing synthetic chemicals at it to rev it up and pollute your liver and trash your adrenals. So love, love, love the Accelerator. Boost is an alternative to Accelerator. Now, where Accelerator is all about increased energy, Boost brings in support more toward the end of appetite suppression, but it does still contain some energy or stimulants. What it does, suppresses appetite, and it does that while helping you maintain your energy level, and it turns up a little bit on the metabolic heat. And the way it does it is using mainly the Caralluma fimbriata, which is an edible cactus that traditionally tribal East Indians used it to suppress hunger, and it enhanced their endurance through increased energy. So it's now been clinically proven to suppress appetite, reduce body weight, and increase energy intake. And then it's got also the yerba mate that the Accelerator has in it, and the hygienamine, of course, the same. The most fabulous part about Boost is that if you're the kind of person who gets really hungry when you increase your activity level, like if you start lifting heavier weights or you bike or swim, and you get really hungry when you do that, because there are people who will work out extra hard and then they're hungrier and they end up putting on weight, which is not what they're wanting to do. Boost is going to help you keep your hunger in check. And so that's why it's a really good product. Block, of course, is the carb blocker, and we as Americans tend to eat just way too many carbs. So it blocks carbohydrate absorption in the gut by almost half, and it uses kidney bean extract, the seaweed blend, which that is the one thing that I think we said, was it? No, it wasn't that. Never mind, scratch that. Oh no, there it does. It has the iodine. That's right. It's got the seaweed in it, so there's iodine. So if you have Hashimoto's or Graves' disease, you need to check with your doctor before you take block. Otherwise, you could probably use that iodine for a healthy thyroid. As long as you don't have antibodies with your thyroid, you're probably okay. The most fabulous part about this is that there's no longer any excuse for out-of-control blood sugar, because you're not going to be creating the enzymes to turn all those carbs into sugar right away. It's all blocked. That's what's blocked. So the carbs just travel on out. Then the multivitamins, they provide key nutrients that your body needs for everything. But the really cool thing about X Factor is that it's all based in aloe vera. And remember when I said that aloe vera is a transportation system? So you take really good nutrients, you put them with aloe vera. Number one, they're not going to hurt your stomach. And vitamins, when they repeat on you, do not taste good. But it's going to help drive those nutrients all the way into the cell where they're needed. It really helps to supercharge the body's various immune activities. The most fabulous part is that it doesn't repeat on you just of the aloe vera. There was a 48 hours or 2020 program years ago, and they went through the New York City sewer system, and they showed all of the vitamins that New York City had taken that day, and they were still intact in the sewer system, which is so disgusting. But that's not the case with Plexus. So And then the X Factor Chewable is great because if you can't swallow a pill, they've got a yummy sour grape candy tasting version of the capsule. I know I'm running out of time, so I'm trying to hurry, Jana. I apologize. Also, okay, let's go through Mega X. Mega X is a plant-based omega. So I'm going to start with the most fabulous part of this one, and that is that there are no fish burps, because there are a lot of people out there that will not take fish oil or omegas because of fish burps. But your body does not create all of the essential fatty acids that it needs. So Mega X is a complete omega. And it's really kind of cool that it's plant-based because it covers the full range of omegas, right? But it comes from the ahi flower seed oil instead of fish. And there's a couple of issues with fish anymore. Number one, most saltwater fish is fully contaminated due to the nuclear accident, and was it Fukushima or wherever? It's they said almost every fish in the ocean now is somewhat contaminated. Also, krill oil that's used to make a lot of omegas is really over harvested and over farmed, and so it hurts the ecosystem in the oceans because of maintaining that balance and not overfishing the waters. So using ahi flour is amazing. It's the only identity preserved non-GMO source of some of these oils, and it's produced following the proprietary CRIP assured 365 identity preservation and quality assurance methods, which means that it's sustainable and renewable. It's not genetically modified. There's so many good things to say about the way that they go about sourcing this particular supplement. It just gives a lot of respect to the environment, whether you're a tree hugger or not. This is a really great product. Okay, plexus nerve. So a lot of people have nerve pain, whether it's headaches or injury-induced pain or related to a chronic condition like diabetes, but neuralgias, neuropathies, neuromas, all of these, they can be miserable to deal with. So what it does is it uses botanicals and nutrients to address the symptoms of nerve-related pain. And the way it works is using amino acids like acetylcarnitine, which helps to actually regenerate nerves, and it repairs damaged nerves. Alpha lipoic acid is anti-inflammatory because it's an antioxidant also. But horse chestnut extract is a very interesting ingredient in here. It's been used for years to treat pain and itching, mainly in the legs, but it supports vascular health, and that's a big thing with nerve pain. So that's really neat. And then the butcher's broom in there. It enhances blood flow to the brain, so you're going to have really healthy microcirculation and a healthier nervous system in general, having the horse chestnut and the butcher's broom in that product. So the most fabulous part of Nerve is that it's non-narcotic, it's nourishing, it's well tolerated by most people, and it's also anti-aging, and it could even help like with some tension headaches and stuff. Ease cream and capsules. Love this product. It's good for temporary relief from muscle aches, pain, and inflammation. And the way it works is using some anti-inflammatories and the green-lipped mussel extract, which is also anti-inflammatory, and it's showing really promising results with arthritis. Turmeric is now being touted, I see it all the time, as the anti-cancer wonder herb, and it's not actually turmeric, it's the curcumin that's extracted from the turmeric, but it is a powerful anti-inflammatory. If you have, it's also antihistamine, so if you have a lot of allergy, headaches, or sinus inflammation, I know that's not probably compliant, but turmeric is something you would use, and so that's another added value added thing with Plexus Ease. Serapeptase is an enzyme that breaks down inflammation. Remember what we said: inflammation precedes all disease. Keeping your inflammation in check is very protective for your overall health. Bromelain is the same thing. It's an enzyme out of pineapple, and it's anti-inflammatory, so it's going to help protect whether it's a swollen joint or swollen gut, or just systemic inflammation and, sore muscles, whatever, it's going to help. So the most fabulous part of Ease is that it's non-habit forming, and it has benefits for overall inflammation, and it benefits brain health. And the cream is good for local irritation, sore muscles, and whatnot. And then finally, Plexus 96, chocolate and vanilla. Only 100 calories. So what it does is it's delivering really high quality whey protein isolate to help build lean muscle. And a lot of people don't get enough protein. If you're really hungry at night, you probably aren't getting enough protein in the morning. So drinking a Plexus shake can really help you get more protein, and it helps curb your sugar cravings later in the day. It gives your body something to work on. It's good for your adrenals and your brain. It works by using, again, the whey protein isolate, but it also has taurine in it, which is anti-anxiety. It supports healthy insulin levels. It fights inflammation, lowers your blood pressure, protects the heart. I mean, there's a lot in there that does a lot of really good things. And then glucomannan, which is a soluble fiber. It adds bulk and it makes you feel full. So if you're trying to lose a little weight, at only 100 calories, you've got to have some glucomannan in there. It's going to make you feel like you ate 300 calories. The warning here is that if you have a dairy sensitivity or allergy, you need to test yourself first. Be real careful with it. There's soy lecithin and milk in it. So that's the only thing about Plexus 96 that may be of a concern to somebody. And the most fabulous part of Plexus 96 is that at only 100 calories, you can use it as a snack. Beef it up with milk or nut butters or fruits or whatever. So that's my rundown on the Plexus line of products. I hope that I gave you some new information and something useful. It was a lot, wasn't it?
Thank you. No, seriously, like I've got people texting me. They're like, my mind is blown right now. We are blown away. So thankfully,
I hope in a good way.
No, most definitely in a good way. Everybody's like, she is so smart.
We obviously prize for whoever has no spelling errors in their notes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Look at Jonathan's notes. That's impressive, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we are recording this call, and so we do end up sharing our recordings with our teams, but we ask them not to share it just in case something isn't compliant. So we share it with them so they can go back and watch it. But I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't have been compliant. That was amazing. Thank you so much, because I cannot wait to go back and listen to that again, because I learned a lot. So I really do appreciate that, Sharon. I have heard from so many people that, you need to have Sharon on there. She knows what she's talking about. So now I know why.
Oh.
So I sure do appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. And go ahead, Amber.
Quick question. In your opinion, Sharon, who would you suggest for Boost? Who would you suggest for Accelerator? I get that question quite often. And if you could just cover that real quick, that would be awesome.
That's a really good question. And of course, not everybody tolerates supplements all the same, but in general, if you have, some people say, high blood pressure, they won't take the Accelerator, and I get it. Even though there are heart protective ingredients in there, everybody's a little different. If you are somebody who's very low energy, if you're tired, if you have a hard time making it through the day without a nap, then I would say use Accelerator. If you want to be more active, but you're just not, I would use the Accelerator. If you're somebody who's pretty active, but your appetite's just a little bit out of control, I would use the Boost. Like I said, for me personally, if I go swimming, I could eat a horse. So for me, but I don't have trouble staying awake through the day. So Boost is probably what I want to do, because it's more the appetite suppression that I would need. Whereas the Accelerator is going to be more, let's turn up the metabolism here a little bit, give you more energy. It's more energy producing, and whereas the Boost is going to suppress the appetite.
Well, why would anybody say then that Accelerator or Boost makes their heart race? I've had a few people say that. What in Accelerator or Boost would make their heart race?
I wonder, I don't know for sure. So I'm just, wondering if it's not maybe the tangerine peel.
Okay.
That would be my best guess, because there are a lot of people who have blood pressure issues who take it just fine.
Yeah, there are. I have tons of people that do, but then every once in a while, somebody will throw me a curveball and say that it makes their heart race. So anyway, well, I sure do appreciate it, Sharon. And I'm excited for you and your future with Plexus too. So
thanks, me too. And congratulations on going diamond. That was so exciting.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. All right, so we are going to move on. And okay, we had a lot of questions, but I think we're going to have to go ahead and move on. My friend Kim Wallar is on the call. Sharon already talked to her just about her just a little bit. They've known each other for a long time, worked together. And I met Kim. I had seen Kim on Facebook here and there in the Plexus world before I actually met her. But I met her this past summer through my sponsor, Sunday, was friends with her sponsor, Brittany. And we went to lunch together one day and became fast friends. So it was really neat how God worked it out, because I had just got interested in clean eating, in paleo eating. And I like literally just a few weeks before I met her is when I had really just kind of been introduced to it. So I met Kim, and within 2 days I was at the gym with her. And then not long after that, she had me eating paleo and clean eating. And so the girl knows her stuff. She knows what she's talking about. And she is, sits down and talks to people all the time about this and introduces them to this way of life. And I will tell you, since I have been eating this way 99% of the time, there's a huge difference in the way I feel, a huge difference just in the way my body looks, and the way my body operates. And so I'm excited for her to introduce this to you guys. I hope you'll listen, and she is going to shoot it straight with you. There's no what's the word I'm looking for? No shortcuts here. She's going to tell you how to do it and to be successful with this. So I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm a little under the weather tonight, so I'm not really thinking real clear. All right. So Kim Wallar, take it away, girl.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me on the call. And I haven't seen your face since you went diamond, so congratulations. Thank y'all for inviting Sharon and I. And let me just tell you, it's not real fun that I get to follow Sharon, because as much as she knows and sounds professional, and it looks like she's memorized all this stuff, and I'm just hoping that she had notes there, but I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't have notes. So as professional as she is, I'm the complete opposite. So I will give you lots of information. I know your head right now is probably about to explode. So I hope you stay with me. As wonderful as Plexus is, and I love Plexus. I've been with Plexus for 2 years, and my life has been changed by the products. I've been in the wellness industry, like Sharon said. I worked for her for 6 years, and then I've been with Plexus 2 years. So as wonderful as our products are, when you get ready, it's not a fix-all. And so you have to do something to change your diet. If you want to get completely well, if you want to take your body and your diet to the next step, then this call is for you. We're just going to go over a little bit of clean eating, and I will try to keep it fast, because I don't know how long your calls are. I didn't even ask, but usually how long do I have, Jana?
You can go as long as you need to, Kim. This team's awesome, and they'll stay on listening to you. So however long you want,
I will
take it.
Okay, I will talk fast. So basically, what is clean eating? I get people that ask me, and I'll just tell you, the reason I started doing classes and things like this is because I was getting a lot of phone calls, and I was sitting down with people, which I love to sit down and talk to people, but it was taking a lot of time. And so I just kind of decided to put my notes down on paper and started having seminars and things like that. And so this is actually the first time I've done it on Zoom. But basically, what is clean eating? A lot of times when you hear clean eating, people start to panic and they think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get to have, Doritos ever again. And that's not at all what it is. But basically, clean eating, it's not a diet. It's just a lifestyle change. At its simplest, it's about eating whole foods or real foods. You want your foods as minimally processed as possible. The reason it is important, I truly believe that our bodies are a temple of the Holy Spirit. And the foods that we put in our body now, they're full of toxins. They're not real. Your bodies can only handle so much of toxins. And so you want to be careful what you feed yourself, because your food is actually fuel. And so whenever you are taking care of your body, then eventually you can get well. You're going to love your husband better. You're going to love your children better. You're going to serve the Lord better. And let me tell you, before I started eating, I changed my diet about 5 years ago. I was sick. I know what it's like to be addicted to sugar. I was a sugar addict. I was sick all the time. I slept all the time. So I can tell you that now I eat clean. I eat paleo, and my life is completely changed. So nothing I'm going to tell you I don't already do myself. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is change what you think you know about food. So the first fake food was introduced to America, and this is going to get kind of sciencey, but the first fake food was introduced in America in 1837, and it was by Procter & Gamble, and they had a candle and a soap making business. And what they did, they wanted to obtain beef tallow and lard that they needed to make their candle products. So they got, it was hard to come by, they were expensive, so they wanted to do something different. And so they invested in a cotton seed mill. And before cotton can be made into a t-shirt or a Q-tip, they take the seeds that are removed and they're discarded. And the reason they're discarded is because it is an industrial waste. And so they would, so basically when they would discard it, well, long story short, the candle business didn't go well because of the invention of the light bulb. So they thought, well, we have all this toxic waste here. What can we do with it? And so they hired a scientist, and they did a bunch of work, and they took that toxic waste, because remember, they wanted it to be lard. So they took that toxic waste, and it looked like lard. And so what did they do? They put it in a can, and they slapped a label on it, and they called it Crisco. So that is where we got Crisco from. And it's really actually a toxic waste. And so you think, well, goodness gracious, why are we feeding ourselves a toxic waste? How did that get approved? And so what they did, they put together cookbooks. And in the cookbooks, they had all the women dressed real nice, and their house was clean, and the children looked obedient. And they said, this will help you, if you eat with this, then obviously you're going to be skinny and your kids are going to be well behaved, and people bought it hook, line, and sinker. And so that was really just the beginning. They also went around and said that it was healthier and more economical than butter and lard. And when they said that, people believed it. They never did any studies that said it was more economical, it was, more easily digestible. All the stuff that they said, they never did any studies. They just said it. So, and also the shelf life for Crisco was 2 years. So people wanted that was better than butter. And so they substituted lard and butter for Crisco. And that was just the beginning of our fake food in America. So now we have fake butter, which is margarine. We have fake whipping cream, which is Cool Whip, fake eggs, which are egg beaters, fake cheese, which is Velveeta, fake bread, and with fake food became the rise of heart disease, diabetes, ADHD, autism, cancer, and obesity. So that's just one of the things. We're going to talk a lot about fake food. I should tell y'all, don't send me any nasty messages on Facebook either about your food, because I'm not going to tell you can never eat an Oreo cookie. So, okay, the food pyramid. We see the food pyramid from the time we are little bitty, right? It's on Sesame Street. It's on elementary school walls. Okay, forget the food pyramid. We're not even thinking about it anymore, because basically we were told that it's the healthiest diet on the planet. Well, I just want you to know that they never did any research. It was actually put out by the USDA, and it was actually the agriculture department that created it, and they did it as a money-making thing. So we're not going to talk about the food pyramid. We're going to rethink that. I want you to rethink what you know about being healthy. So how do you get started eating clean? What I want you to think about is real food. How did God create it? Is it in its whole form for me to eat it? So before we get started, we don't have control over a lot of things, but you do have control over what goes into your mouth. You're in control. You make a conscious decision. And before I did Plexus, like I said, I worked at the naturopath, and I really talked to a lot of the customers whenever they had to, they would go see Sharon, and she would take them away off of all their sugar and everything. And so they would come out to me, and, I'd have to talk them off the ledge. And most people come out and they go, oh, I could never eat healthy. Or they start thinking about, well, I have a birthday in 3 weeks. I've got to have cake. Don't worry about any of that. We're not going to talk about that right now. But I just want you to know you have control over what goes in your mouth. If you want to change your life and you want to change your health, then make that decision to do it. There's no excuse. So everything that I'm going to talk about, you have to have a plan. You have to plan to eat healthy. It doesn't come naturally, and it's not easy. So fail to plan, plan to fail. You're going to have to make menus. You're going to have to get to the grocery store. You're going to have to fill your fridge with healthy choices. If you have a pantry stocked full of Oreos and Doritos, I would say get rid of it. Pantry, that's not really what we want stocked, because it's not real food. We want fresh food. So you want to have your counter, you want to have lots of fresh vegetables and fruits on your counter. Don't worry about the pantry. You want to have your refrigerator full of food. Okay, things to avoid. The single largest source of calories for Americans is sugar, specifically high fructose corn syrup. So just listen real quick to the sugar trends in America. In the 1700s, the average person consumed about 4 pounds of sugar per year. In the 1800s, it was 18 pounds of sugar a year. This is just one person. In the 1900s, they consumed 90 pounds of sugar a year. In 2009, more than 50% of all Americans consume 1/2 pound of sugar per day. That is 180 pounds of sugar a year. Sugar is in everything. So we're going to talk about reading labels, but it is in everything. And you need to realize all the different names of sugar, because they change the name. They don't want to, now that everybody is on to what is high fructose corn syrup, they've changed it to something else. So Google different names of sugar. Take that list with you, so when you're reading labels, you'll know this is sugar. It is in soft drinks. It's in fruit juices. It is in sports drinks. It is in all processed food. It is in your lunch meat. It's in pretzels. It's in Worcestershire sauce. It's in ketchup, and it is in baby formula. So babies are addicted to sugar from the very beginning. Okay. One of the most inflammatory foods in our modern diet next to gluten is dairy. This is usually the one where people want to kill me, but I'm sorry. Dairy is, if you have bloating, if you have digestive issues, constipation, diarrhea, if you have acne, a lot of those are from dairy. So I would encourage you to maybe cut it out for a season and just see how your body reacts without it. You can live without dairy. Just a little side note before you message and ask. Calcium is actually, you can get it from vegetables. So don't worry about the calcium that you're going to get from dairy. Most of our, back in the older days, people ate a lot of fermented foods, sauerkraut and all those things, and that helped with the gut. Well, now what do we have? even our yogurt, all of that's homogenized. And so it's cooked. And so they've killed everything that could possibly be good for our bodies. So that's dairy. And then obviously gluten, it causes gut inflammation in at least 80% of the population. Okay. If you do not have a gluten sensitivity now, just wait. You probably will. Our bodies are not meant to break down the gluten that is in the foods now. Okay, so we're going to get back to the basics of food. You're like, okay, well, thanks, Kim. Now I can't eat anything except for an air sandwich. Well, that's not true. You've got lots of choices. So we're going to get back to the basics. We're going to eat real food. You're going to eat real eggs. You're going to eat real butter. You're going to eat steak. You're going to eat chicken. I mean, there's so many choices. So everything goes back to the basics. Keep things simple. Do not get overwhelmed with this. I cannot stress this enough. A lot of times people, they want to start eating clean and they clean out their pantry and they clean out their fridge and they make their menu. And then they're so overwhelmed with getting it done that they shut down and they do nothing except for maybe eat, pretzels all night. Don't do that. I want you to keep it simple. Start with one meal. Start with one day. If you mess up and you go, oh, I cheated, I ate ice cream, who cares? Tomorrow's a new day. His mercies are new every morning. And so just remember that. You're keeping it simple. You're going to give yourself grace. Every meal is one step closer to being healthy, okay? So just one meal at a time. Okay, so we're going to read labels. Everything you're going to buy, you're going to train your kids to read labels. You're going to read labels. If, like Sharon was saying, if you read, shampoo or lotion and it has water or alcohol, it's junk. That's pretty much what you're going to do with labels. And I don't mean I have a label here. And too bad, I don't have my glasses and I couldn't find them. But I know it says something on here. But I'm not talking about the part that says, oh, this has, 5 grams of sugar. I don't care about any of that. You're going to read ingredients. And if it says natural flavors or anything like that, don't get it because that's MSG. And a lot of times if you have migraines and stuff, it's because you have a reaction, obviously MSG. So you're going to read like this is coconut milk and it has organic coconut, water, and then organic guar gum. And so if you don't know what guar gum is, look it up. And so that has 3 ingredients. Before I buy anything, I read the ingredients. And you might think, oh my gosh, I don't have all day. It's so fast. My kids will even read ingredients now. Okay, so you're going to read all the labels, and then you're going to recreate. I want you to think about, okay, what is our favorite food? For example, if spaghetti is your favorite food, how can you make that, instead of processed, how can you make it real, a real meal? I don't know why I started with spaghetti. That's a little bit harder. But spaghetti, it would be, okay, we'll read, first of all, if you buy spaghetti sauce, read the label. Does it have hidden sugar in it? Yes. Find one with no sugar. Find one with, I'm trying to think, maybe organic if you can. Not everybody can afford organic. I don't buy organic. I've got a huge family. We eat organic when we can. I make spaghetti sauce. I promise you it takes about 5 minutes. And instead of pasta, I'll do zucchini. And so that's what you're just going to do. If we do hamburgers, then instead of the hamburger bun, I will put just lettuce. Okay. I want you to start at first when you think about the first thing that was so crazy for me was when I started eating healthy, and I did a real strict elimination diet when I was first sick. Yes, I'll talk about that with zucchini in just a second because I have a tool here and I'll show you. But when I first started eating healthy, what really shocked me was how food really tasted. I had spent years making a salad, and I would take a little bit of lettuce and I would top it with bacon bits and cheese and a bunch of other stuff and then ranch dressing. And I thought that was healthy. So when I first started eating healthy, I would eat my lettuce, my salad with nothing on it except for lettuce and then the tomatoes. And I was shocked. at how good food actually was. So I would challenge you for a week. Try not to add any seasoning, any like sauces, ketchup, barbecue sauce, salad dressing. Really start to taste food for how it is. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Okay, when you start, usually when I sit down with somebody and I say, okay, how can we change how you eat? The first meal, which is the easiest, is breakfast. Everybody loves a farmhouse breakfast. Bacon, eggs, things like that. That is a healthy breakfast. Go back to eating eggs. If you keep on hand, and don't skip breakfast. Let me just tell you that right now. If you want your metabolism working throughout the day, you make sure that you eat breakfast. It actually breaks your fast, and it gets your metabolism going. A lot of times we maybe skip breakfast and then we start eating lunch. Well, guess what? You're going to consume all those calories. You're going to be hungry the rest of the day because you skipped breakfast. So just start off with breakfast. If you have to, eat one hard-boiled egg. So what I like to do is keep on hand hard-boiled eggs. If we're in a hurry, I'll eat 2 hard-boiled eggs. I keep frozen blueberries in the freezer, and I keep walnuts. That's a good breakfast. I make, usually I put lots of veggies in my eggs if I'm home, and I promise you every meal, it takes about 5 minutes. I don't spend a ton of time in the kitchen. I'm a busy mom. You will be surprised. If you don't have time in the morning, get up earlier. Make time. It's huge. You want to especially sending your kids off to school. A lot of times the cereals and stuff, read the ingredients, but whenever they're eating whole, real food, it does help them to focus throughout the day. A lot of times the sugar and then our processed food, that's what's causing ADD, ADHD, things like that. Okay. So rethink what breakfast food is. It doesn't have to be cereal. It doesn't have to be muffins. It doesn't have to be donuts. It's just another meal. If you have to, eat leftovers from supper. If you're ever in college and you ate pizza for breakfast, it's kind of the same thing. We're just not going to eat pizza for breakfast. I want you to think proteins for also. Okay. Think protein, eggs, chicken, protein shake, almonds, veggies, leftovers, things like that. If you just cannot live without grains, then I would recommend steel cut oats. I'm not telling you guys, just remember, I'm not telling you you can never eat this stuff. I'm telling you, I would encourage you to cut it out for a season to see how you feel. How is your stomach? Are you bloated all the time? Do an elimination diet. I just got off. I'm still actually doing the whole 30. I think I'm on day 32. Do it the whole 30 if you can. Just to see how your body reacts with some foods. A lot of times we think, I used to eat oatmeal every day. I didn't think I could live without it. I'm fine. I haven't had oatmeal in 5 years. But I love eggs for breakfast. Okay. Think about after you eat. So keep it simple for breakfast. If you have to, eat an egg, eat a half of an avocado. If you're cooking your egg and you're frying it, coconut oil. Everything is done in coconut oil. You want good fat. We're going to talk about that in a second. But I always have on hand frozen blueberries, almonds or walnuts, and then hard-boiled eggs. Okay. Lunches are simple. You're going to have a lot, just if you're making supper, double it so you can have it for lunch. I'm not telling you can't have bread or anything like that. But for me, I prefer, if I have lunch meat, then I'll put I make mayonnaise. And I put mayonnaise on there and I'll put a slice of an avocado and I'll roll it up. It's so amazing. My girls, just so y'all know, I have 3 girls. They do not even miss bread. And 2 of them did the whole 30. One of them's married and she did not do the whole 30. Her and her husband didn't, but my other 2 that live home, they did. And they didn't complain one bit. So rolled up lunch meat, leftovers. Mainly what I do is make just extra I make a big salad sometimes for lunch. I just prepare. If I'm going to be gone that day, we are going to be gone for a volleyball tournament, we prepare the day before. I don't want to get somewhere where I'm hungry and I am tempted to go and eat a corn dog or something like that. Or one time I was with Amber and I ate like 5 M&Ms because I was starving and I have yet to live it down. But we did like move walls from the tornado and I was starving. We didn't have any other food. I wasn't prepared.
Let it go on the record that you brought that up.
I did not. You texted me a minute ago about an M&M. I saw it. Okay, moving right along. Okay, let's talk about supper, because a lot of times this is where people, you work all day, you're exhausted, you don't even want to make dinner. And so the easiest thing is to obviously either order a pizza, go through a drive-through and bring it home. I get it. But if you will prepare on Saturday or Sunday, just make it a day that, hey, this is my prep. I'm going to, for 2 hours or 1 hour or 30 minutes, I'm going to wash off my vegetables. I'm going to cut things up. And I'm going to have a menu. A menu is huge. Make sure you know. I just bought what did I buy? It's a pressure cooker, an Instant Pot. And that will cook chicken in 18 minutes. And it was frozen. So there's really no excuse why you can't have a meal on the table. So dinner, I recreate our favorites. When I switched to paleo, I thought, what is our favorite thing to eat? We love steak, so we still eat steak. I just don't make mashed potatoes, or I don't do a baked potato. So instead, I'll do sweet potatoes. We love spaghetti, and so I recreated it with zucchini. If we didn't have any zucchini and the kids if they wanted pasta, I would still make pasta sometimes, but I wouldn't eat it, and I would just eat this spaghetti sauce because I put a lot of meat in it. You just want to think, what can I do? You know, when we were growing up, we had the plate where we had meat, and we had to have a bread, and then we had like a canned veggie, and then maybe a potato. Don't think about that anymore. If you can look at your plate and you think, I want a protein, and I want a carb, the good carbs, which are veggies, and then a fat. So a half of an avocado if you can, something like that. That's a good plate. And the more fat you eat, the more your metabolism is going to burn. Okay, if you hate to cook, I'm sorry, you're going to have to figure out how to cook. Use a crock pot. Find new recipes. A lot of times I went through a season where I would get bored doing the same recipes. Another thing we like to do for supper, we will grill chicken. We will get a huge thing of chicken, and my husband will grill it on Sunday, and we keep it on hand. We'll eat it for lunches, and we'll eat it for dinner, especially during volleyball season because I'm gone out of the house 5 nights a week. And I just plan a little bit more. We take food in the car. For snacks on the go, I will pack almonds. I will pack some fruit. For kids, I will do the natural fruit roll-ups. Make sure there's not a lot of sugar. I'm trying to think. Lara bars are good, things like that. But I usually always have food with me. Whenever you go to the grocery store, that can be overwhelming because if you're going to do this, if you can, don't take your kids because they're going to see all the cereals and everything that they want. Just, if you can, don't take them. Stick to the outer perimeters of the store. That is where all the healthy food is. The vegetables, the meat, okay? That's where you're going to go. I do go in the middle to get tomato sauce, coconut milk. I use a lot of coconut milk, and it's canned. I don't even buy the kind in the carton. Just on a disclaimer, though, if you are going to use this for the little protein shakes for Plexus, do not use the whole can. That's a lot of fat. Use about 1/4 a cup. That would be really, you'd probably gain weight on that. Okay. I've already went through that. Okay, I'm trying to hurry. Fats. Okay, remember back in the days when we did all the diets where it was you can eat a whole box of Snackwell cookies and not gain anything because they were fat-free? Those were the good old days. It's not true. That actually made America even more obese. That actually kicked our weight problem into high gear. So fat, I want you to rethink what you think about fat. Fat is actually good for you. You want fat. Our bodies have to have it. There's a great book out there. It's called Eat Fat, Lose Fat. When I read that, it really changed how I thought. You want to get rid of like the canola oils, vegetable oils, all that. That's not a real fat. Those are bad. And you want to replace it with an avocado oil. Olive oils are great. Coconut oil is great. Those are all really good fats. Other good fats are avocados, nuts, eggs, things like that. If you are hungry throughout the day, most likely you're not getting enough fat or you're not getting enough protein. Butter is a good fat. It's okay to use that sparingly. If you have margarine in your house, throw that out like as soon as we get off the call. Ghee is another good fat. It's not my favorite. A lot of people like it. I just don't like how it tastes. Okay, get rid of all vegetable oils. They are man-made, and they do increase obesity and diabetes. Okay, for those of you that have family, a lot of times it can be overwhelming when you have kids because you're thinking, oh my goodness, my kids, my husband, they're never going to eat like this. If you are addicted to sugar and you have some issues with how you eat, I would say focus on you first. Get your healthy eating under control. You cannot really take care of your family if you're not well. So just to give you an idea, I ate clean for 30 days before my family jumped on board. And my kids didn't jump on board right away. My husband was next. And then maybe a month later, my kids. I didn't make a big deal about it whenever I started cooking for my family. I didn't walk in and say, okay, we're never going to eat Oreos again. Throw it out, because then there would be like wailing and gnashing of teeth and all that. Subtly throw things out. It doesn't matter. Get it out of the house if that's your addiction. But I do not make two meals. I don't make my meal and their meal. So, for example, if I was eating grilled chicken, then they were eating grilled chicken. If I was going to have grilled chicken, and I would just do roasted vegetables, and if they had to, I might get a piece of bread for them. This was just at first. Obviously, whenever I got more comfortable with it and I knew that I could do this, then I stopped buying bread. I stopped buying cereal. I stopped buying things like that. I stopped buying milk, stuff like that. To get kids excited about this, my Tristan, I don't know that she is like excited. She eats like this. It's not something that she would be like, you're the best mom in the whole wide world. So don't think that they're going to come up and like give you hugs because they can't, have a donut. But she prefers to eat like this, but she does help me make meals. We do talk about how to cook. I educate her on why I eat like this. She has noticed how her body feels different. If you've got little kids, get them in the kitchen with you. If you're making a salad, have them cut up the vegetables. They have those little child-safe knives, or have them wash off the vegetables. Make a big deal about it. Make a big deal about trying out a new vegetable. Oh, we've never had spaghetti squash. Let's try that today. And then ask them, so what do you think? How do you like it? How can we make it better? I have found with kids, whenever they are a part of it, and they have a choice in the vegetables, they are more likely to eat it. We want to remember we're not Nazis in this. You want to have grace. Just kind of slowly make those changes for the kids. But there are some things. Water should be their main drink. If they cannot go without fruit juice, you have a problem. I would get rid of it. A lot of times kids have trouble drinking water and they don't like it. So what I would do is get one of those, you see at weddings or parties. It's got the little spout, the water comes out. I'll fill it up with water and I'll put lemons in it or limes or mint, and I make it look real pretty. And when you have that in the kitchen, kids will drink water all day long. Or get them a neat Swell bottle or something that says, okay, I want you to make sure you drink this all day. Make it kind of fun. If you have to, even do a reward system to get them to drink plenty of water, because most kids are dehydrated. Unsweetened tea is okay on occasion. absolutely the big no-no, I would say, would be artificial sweeteners, and we all know why. If you don't know why, Google it. Let your kids even know why that's not okay. Why is Coke Zero not the best choice? Why is Diet Coke not good? Diet drinks, it has a chemical that shuts off in your brain whenever your brain tells you that you're full, it shuts that off. So you are actually never feeling full. And so that is why most people who are on diet drinks, they have a tendency to be more overweight than other people because they're always eating more. Okay, even Coke Zeros, because your calories aren't coming from that. They're really coming from the other foods that you're eating. Teach your family to read labels. I think I've done this. Okay. Basically, eating clean means you have to get back to the basic of cooking. It doesn't mean you have to spend hours cooking, but you do have to get in the kitchen and cook. If you're in a hurry at night, I would say it's faster to run into Sam's and pick up a roasted chicken and one of those box packages of salad mixes, and there's your dinner. It's probably faster than going through Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it's healthier. It is okay to buy vegetables that are pre-packaged. That's not the best option, but it is okay. I would not buy canned vegetables just because they're not fresh. You can buy frozen, but you need to read the ingredients to make sure that they haven't put like already butter in it, salt, things like that. Okay, let me show you a couple things. I brought for show and tell. Okay, avocado oil. These are the things that people will text me from the grocery store, so I'm just going to save y'all a trip. Avocado oil. This is probably my most used. I get it at Costco. See how big this bottle is? It's $10 at Costco. I use it to make mayonnaise. Do not be impressed because I make mayonnaise. It's not that hard. It's actually very easy. My 14-year-old daughter made it tonight, and we eat it on everything. It is the most delicious thing in the whole wide world. I made sweet potato fries the other night, and because I don't eat ketchup, we actually use the mayonnaise and dip it in there. Guys, it's to die for. Coconut oil. I get it at Costco. Everything I buy, I get at Costco. This comes 2 in a package. If you feel like you're not getting enough fat, as gross as this sounds, eat a teaspoon of it. You want to get your metabolism going. Coconut milk. You can also make whipping cream with this. Just put it in the refrigerator. It will solidify on the top. Take the top layer off. You can mix it up, and it's like a whipping cream that you can eat with berries. Okay, one of my favorite kitchen gadgets is this. Does everybody know what a Paderno is? Okay, zucchini noodles. Somebody asked about, why would you do zucchini with spaghetti? Okay, this is what you do. You put the zucchini. It's $20 on Amazon, guys. But I want you to know it is $20 on Amazon. So you're not getting a $150 machine. It's like, okay, I mean, it's made like it's $20. But it is awesome. You can take a sweet potato or a zucchini, and it'll come out, and it'll look like spaghetti. It is the coolest thing in the world. Sweet potato, whenever you make like little sweet potato noodles, they cook. You can toast them in coconut oil, and it takes about 5 minutes. It's unbelievable. And they're so good. We will do that for breakfast sometimes and put a raw egg, not a raw egg, that's gross, a fried egg on top. Okay, this is the last thing, tips. I know everybody is busy. We are always busy, but that is not an excuse. It might mean that you have to cut out something in the evening so you can be at home to cook for your family. Stay focused on changing your lifestyle. You will have days that you want to quit. Take a breather. If you have to, stop one day, pick it up the next day. Remember, it's all about grace. We are not legalistic in this. But I will say, if you have, for me personally, I'm not very good with going halfway at anything. If I know, I have Friday's a cheat day. Well, then guess what? Thursday's probably going to be, and so is Wednesday. And so I would say commit for 1 week. I'm going to try eating clean for 1 week, or I'm going to eat clean for 2 weeks. If you mess up, don't throw in the towel. Just start over the next day. Nobody cares. Don't expect perfection. Buy in bulk. That way it keeps you from having to go to the grocery store every other day because you're buying fresh food, right? Everything you want is fresh or it's going to be frozen if you have to. So you're going to have to go to the store a little bit more often. Have a stash of emergency food in your car. Lara bars, raw nuts, pistachios. You can do dried fruit that's unsweetened, things like that. Keep your meals simple. Just to give you an idea, tonight for supper, I had it done in probably 15 minutes. I roasted cauliflower and I put green beans in a pan and I sauteed it. I was done in really, I came up here. We had grilled fish and my husband put it on a bed of spinach. And it was the most delicious meal and it really probably took 15 to 20 minutes. If you eat out, which we all do, right? I prefer going to steak places because I can get protein. But hamburgers are fine. Just maybe if you have to, take the top bun off if you just want to eat the bottom bun. If I eat, the only fast food place that I'll eat at is In-N-Out Burger because it has lettuce. They wrap it in lettuce and their food is real. Their meat's real. And I think that's really, and then this isn't really just saying, hey, you can never eat like this. Really what it is just to see how you fuel your body. Food is fuel. It's not meant to be an addiction. It's not meant to be a god. It's really just to give us energy, to help us to live well. And so you have to decide what food is best for you. And that's really it.
Thank you, Kim. That was so good. And I'm telling you guys, when you start eating this way, it makes a huge difference. And talking about kiddos, I know somebody had a question about that too. Your kiddos can do it. My girls, we did it for 10 days back in the summer, and they have obviously cheated because it's hard being, I shouldn't say cheated, but they've got off the plan here and there because it's hard being a teenager sometimes. Everywhere you go, they're feeding you pizza. But I don't bring it into the home. So no Cheetos are coming into the house and no Oreos are coming into the house, and we buy real food, and it makes such a difference. So anyway, last time I went out to eat with Kim too, you could have a big old steak and green beans, and you can't beat that kind of meal. So Kim, do you mind answering a few questions?
No, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, so somebody asked what this is called. It's called a Paderno, Paderno. I would also encourage you to look up Instant Pot. I made bone broth today, and normally bone broth takes 48 hours. It took me 20 minutes. No, 2 hours. 2 hours. By the time I got home from BSF, it was done. Okay, oils. Somebody said, what oils would you use if your kids are allergic to nuts? Can they not have olive oil or coconut oil?
I would think so.
Okay, can they? I would have to look into that. Message me on Facebook. A lot of recipes are they're paleo breads. Yes, there is some phenomenal paleo recipes. We've done paleo donuts. It's very hard. I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of times when you start eating clean, you want to recreate all your cakes and everything. I wouldn't do that at first. I would go without it. See how you are without it, because whenever you start buying food to make a cake, for one thing, it's expensive. Almond flour, almond meal, things like that, they're very expensive. So I would say go without it for a couple weeks, see how you feel, and then occasionally make a bread. And they're Against All Grain. That's a website. She has phenomenal meals, phenomenal recipes. And I was going to say another thing. If you have an autoimmune disease, you need to really be mindful what you're eating. You need to be careful. Obviously, grains, anything that causes inflammation, which would be grains, sugar, and dairy, because autoimmune is an inflammation, but also nightshades, potatoes, beets, peppers. Those are all nightshades. You want to really limit your nightshades. What other questions were there, Jana? Salt. Salt is a good question. Okay, you don't want to use table salt. I know this can be, guys, remember, baby steps, but I'm giving you so much information, and I'm sorry if I'm overwhelming you, but I'm just going to try to tell you everything. Salt. Table salt has sugar in it. My favorite is pink Himalayan salt. I get mine at Costco, or you can order a Celtic sea salt. That's a fabulous sea salt, and that's on Amazon.
Yeah. Somebody else asked, for those who work out intensely, are sweet potatoes good?
Yes. Not every day. I work out, and so I do occasionally have sweet potatoes. It depends on, actually, let me say this. If you're trying to lose weight, then I would say limit your sweet potatoes. And they're even saying white potatoes are okay now. Even in paleo, when I was old school paleo, whenever you couldn't eat potatoes, but now they're saying white potatoes, but it's just something you don't want to do every day. And a lot of times when you eat the same food every day, your body gets sensitive to it anyway. So just be careful with that. Y'all might ask some questions. What's the difference between, okay, beans. I don't do beans, but a lot of people do. They're a legume. I just don't do beans. Research it. Decide. My body doesn't do well with it. Just decide. Let's talk about rice real quick. Rice is okay on occasion too. See how it feels. For me, it makes me, I get sick when I eat it, so I don't eat it. If you're going to choose a rice, do a white rice instead of a brown rice. Brown rice has an exoskeleton on it that your body can't break through to digest.
But Kim, if people are wanting to lose weight, they would want to stay away from that, right?
Yes. If you want to lose weight, okay, and then fruit. Let's talk about fruit versus vegetables. A lot of times people will say, hey, I'm going to lose weight, and I'm going to eat paleo. And so this is what their diet is. It's mainly sweet potatoes and fruit. You are never going to lose weight on sweet potatoes and fruit. Fruit is still sugar. If you're going to eat fruit, bananas have the most sugar. Grapes have a ton of sugar. So you want to limit your fruit to berries. Berries have the least amount of sugar, and I would not do more than 1 serving a day.
And I remember one time at the other meeting we did, Kim, you were talking about, I know a lot of people on here want to lose weight. So this is a whole new concept for them to eat this way. But I remember you talking about that a lot of times, if you're needing to lose weight, a lot of times you're not getting the healthy fats that you need. So can you share a little bit more about that?
Your body has to have fat. It has to. It craves fat. That's what it's really what a lot of us are made of. Our brain needs fat to function. We have deprived ourselves of fat for so long with adding margarine and low fat. And so make sure when you get up, you start off with a good fat. Cook your eggs in coconut oil. If I'm making a protein shake before I go work out, then I will add a teaspoon of coconut oil. I'm making sure I get a lot of fat. If you're not losing fat and you're hungry, eat a half of an avocado. So basically that's, if you want to lose weight, I would highly recommend looking into the paleo lifestyle, looking into the Whole30. It doesn't have to be forever. It's only for a season. But I would also, you want to limit your starchy stuff. The sweet potatoes. I do eat sweet potatoes occasionally, but I work out 4 days a week. So I might have sweet potatoes 1 day a week.
What about Ezekiel bread, Kim?
You can. Now, like I said, I'm not here to tell you that you can't do stuff.
But Kim does not eat Ezekiel bread.
I don't eat Ezekiel bread. I don't like it, to be honest. I used to. It's not my favorite. And I don't eat peanut butter. So you can't mask the flavor of Ezekiel bread. Sorry.
Right. But you can do almond butter for those of you that are
wondering. Let me tell y'all my favorite snack. Do we have time, Jan? Okay, we're leaving.
Yes, and this is one of my favorite snacks. No, You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay, my favorite, I don't like peanut butter. Peanut butter has a lot of fungus. Peanuts have a lot of fungus. And so if you are struggling with sinus infections, things like that, you have too much fungus in your body, get rid of the peanut butter. Almond butter is my favorite. It is kind of pricey, but I don't eat it all the time. read the label, make sure it's only almonds in it. But I will put 3 strawberries because that's a serving for me. 3 strawberries, and I will do a little bit of almond butter, and I do like pecans or walnuts, and that's my snack. That's kind of my pretend cereal. I used to be a cereal junkie.
Did you say you put coconut milk on it?
I don't anymore since I did the whole thing. We've cut out all that.
Okay,
let me talk about coffee real quick. Coffee, it's still fine. Know what you're drinking. Organic's better. Watch what you're putting in it. If you have to, I would do an unsweetened almond milk, unsweetened coconut milk. Obviously, make sure carrageenan's not in it. Try black if you can. As a treat, make, what's it called?
Bulletproof coffee, yeah.
Look at that, but that's a lot of fat. Somebody asked a question.
Somebody else asked, you mentioned nuts as a snack. I have a toddler allergic to nuts,
Okay.
eggs, and dairy.
Vegetables. I mean, guys, snacks are fruits and vegetables with kids. When my girls were little, we would cut up apples and make them, look like a sun. There is like nut butters without the nuts in it. Like maybe sometimes they can have sunflower seeds, or there's one out there without all the nuts, because there's a lot of people that are allergic to nuts. Sugar snap peas are great to have on hand. Costco sells a big bag. We eat those like crazy. Almost all of the vegetables I cook for supper, I put, someone said popcorn, Mountain Dew ice cream. Yeah, those are all good. Those are yummy. I roast almost all my vegetables, and it takes about, on an oven at 450, it really takes 15 to 20 minutes.
Somebody said, what are good things to add in if you're lacking calories in the day?
Eat more. I mean, obviously just eat more. That's the one thing is, when you watch the foods that you eat and you're eating real food, you should never be counting calories. You do not have to count points. I mean, that's kind of the glory. These are the foods the way God intended it in its whole form. You can eat more. You can eat, your plate can be piled high with salad. If you need more calories, I would do a protein shake. I would do more maybe grilled chicken. Avocados are good. Nuts are good. Even add an extra meal if you have to. I don't have that problem with calories. I eat a lot.
Somebody else said, what do you recommend for those who burn over 2,200 calories a day?
Wow. There is what you're doing. That's awesome. I would probably do more protein.
I would just tell y'all too to really check out that Whole30 book. What book that got, I don't know that Kim's read it, and I don't know what she recommends, but to me it's very similar. The book that got me interested in paleo is the 10-Day Detox. And then I was kind of introduced, which is similar. And then I was introduced to Whole30, and Kim got me, is the one that is my go-to person. So it sounds all weird. Everything sounds, I shouldn't say weird. Everything it's very different. It's so different than our way of thinking, especially as Americans. We eat so much junk, and we're just so, that's our way of life. So when you start eating this way, the first few days for me were hard, and then it gets so much easier. And what happens for me is, once I've done it for a long time, if I do go splurge, part of me now, I can't even enjoy the splurge, because I know how I'm going to feel later. I know what it's going to do to me. I know that those foods don't do well for my body. I cannot eat the grains. I can't eat them. I don't feel good after. And it made me realize, like, oh my gosh, that's why I never felt good before. So the cool thing about it too is our Plexus products go right along with this. And I'm telling you, if you want to lose weight, I think for some people, Plexus it's a great start for them. But for most people, they need something else. You've got to change the way you're eating and change the way you're looking at food. So I can't recommend.
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of, it's just a healthy, we're here to love people and serve them and help them. And this is just kind of part of a healthy lifestyle. Obviously, not everybody is going to be the extreme like I am, or, but it's little things. If you can know, hey, let's add more fat to your diet. Maybe you're not getting enough fat, or maybe you need some more protein, or you're not eating breakfast. I mean, these are all good things to sorry, I'm distracted by the questions. These are all good things to know to help your customers. I will do calls with my whole team. They will put me on phones with their customers if they're not losing weight. And I'll just go through, I want to see your food. And they will. And I'll make a couple changes, and then they will start losing weight.
I'll tell you guys, a lot of y'all know my story. For a long time, I lost 30 pounds with the help of Plexus, and I was basically counting calories. And I tell everybody my story. Plexus is what helped me stick to counting calories. But then I got stuck. I didn't know about paleo then. I didn't know about this. To me, this is so much easier than counting calories. This is so much easier than counting points. There's always something I can eat if I need something to eat. So this is easier, and I feel better. I don't know about you guys that have done Weight Watchers before. I mean, I was that girl that was like, well, I'm going to make sure I save enough points so I can have my ice cream tonight. Well, that's awful way of thinking. I mean, you are still not fueling your body and feeding your body the way it needs to be fed, and you're not going to feel well. You might lose weight, but you're not going to feel well. So, this
another
is so
thing
much
to
easier.
target, I was going to say, Jana, another thing, after you eat, if you are tired immediately, then something's wrong with what you just ate. Your food should give you fuel. It should give you energy. And I used to be that person that I would be, I can't even do the dishes. I'm so tired. So that's just another thought too.
Yeah. And, that's how I feel now when I do cheat chem. If when we've had those few splurge meals where I'm like, I'm going to eat all the chips and enchiladas, then later I'm like, oh, I just need a nap now. And when you don't, we had roast tonight. It was delicious. And I feel, you feel good after you had it. When you've had the right kind of food, you feel good. So
I was going to say there's a lot of recipes on my blog. Y'all are welcome to check it out. Just because it has the mayonnaise recipe and it has some soup recipes and things like that. I think I might even have a grocery list on there. If not, I'll add it.
What is it? Simply Domestic
blog.com. Mm-hmm. There's a Facebook page. I don't post a lot, but I do try to add. Sometimes I'll put my menus up, things like that.
And her blog is great. I found so many recipes on there. Her sweet potato chili, which sounds funny, it is probably one of my family's favorite meals. Like, we love that stuff. Like, I will make the biggest batch of it as I can because we will eat it for the next couple days afterwards. So it's delicious.
And I'm going to say, and I'll get off. When I switched my diet, it took me a couple weeks for my metabolism to get under control. I was starving all the time. I felt like I wasn't eating enough because I was so worried about portion control. And I remember calling Sharon going, I'm going to die. My jaws are going to fall off. I'm tired of chewing food. And she's like, just eat more. You're fine. And so just remember, when you're eating real stuff, it's okay to eat more.
Yeah. Is there any other questions?
Kim, is there a suggested, you've talked a lot about having those healthy fats. Is there a suggested amount of those, or does that vary person to person?
There is, and off the top of my head, I don't know what the, let me look it up, but I want to say like a half of an avocado would be. I mean, obviously we don't want to eat fat constantly, but there is, I meant to bring that book up. I should have looked that up.
That's okay. Message me.
I was going to tell you too, when I started on this is what actually helped me lose the last 10 pounds. So this paired with my Plexus is what helped me lose, well, I'd say my last 7, 8, 9 pounds, something like that. So if you guys are stuck, I would highly encourage you to really look into this because it's going to make a difference.
My husband he had lost 60, maybe 40 pounds or something, or 30 pounds. And then I changed his diet. We went paleo, and I think he lost like another 25 or 30. So it matters.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's all. And there's always something you can eat. That's the cool thing. So if you're hungry, there is food you can eat.
today I was starving, and just to tell you, just as a chip, I ate pork rinds because the only ingredients are pork rinds. That sounds gross, but I was like, why did I do this? I haven't eaten this kind of stuff. I was afraid it was going to make me sick for the call, but I did eat pork rinds today.
That's funny. It's better than an M&M, I guess.
It is, but the ingredients are paleo. Pork rinds are.
That's hilarious.
I didn't text you about the M&M. I texted you about the donut.
Oh, but it was Facebook that you said something about it.
There was something about an M&M earlier.
When we were doing tornado cleanup, y'all, my dad brought my donuts for their kids, for Jana's kids and Kim's daughter. And Jana said, do you want a donut? I said, I'm not eating a donut in front of Kim Wallar. And that was like the
that was the quote of the day.
That was the same day that Kim had a few M&Ms, and Amber won't let her live it down.
We literally had to move walls from the I was starving. I mean, come on, I didn't get a donut.
She picked up a bag of trail mix that probably had 10 M&Ms in the whole thing, maybe. I mean, it was this big.
It was little. But I didn't offer to anybody. I scarfed it down. No regrets. No regrets.
And so we're really picking on Kim. And so we're at this one house where literally all that's standing is 2 interior walls, and everything is ruined. Everything is drenched. We're helping these poor people clean up all this stuff. And I see something out of the corner of my eye that was in perfect shape. And I walk over. I pick it up. I took it to Kim. It was a giant, like life-size, barely shorter than me, M&M with arms and legs. Yellow M&M. It was like the only thing in the house that wasn't completely.
The only thing that survived the tornado.
Well, that and all the Halloween decorations from that house. Yes. There was a lot of Halloween decorations that we were able to save.
We were very compassionate, but then Amber walks out. Oh my gosh, it's the M&M.
By the way, I think we've now entered into our after party.
Yes. Okay.
You're so funny. Yes. So yeah, I appreciate it, Kim. I think
my pleasure.
I know I have had a lot of people that have just been interested in this and interested in how you do it and how you just make it a way of life. And it's one of those things you just do. But the really cool thing is, that's a good question. The really cool thing is you can still eat out. I know people a lot of times think you can't eat out. I do. I mean, I shouldn't say all the time, but we eat out several times a week just because our schedule with basketball and all. The worst places are Italian food. It's hard to do that. But yeah, you can definitely eat out. But did you see that other question, Kim?
I did. That is, I'm reading that. That's a great, okay, school lunch ideas. I'm just going to tell you, there's lunch meat. You can do leftovers. You can make, there's like little meat, like you can make veggie meatballs. And that's another thing. Almost every time I make meatloaf or meatballs or anything like that, I put a ton of veggies in it. You can do that and send it to, they have these little compartmentalized lunch boxes. Fill it up with a bunch of different stuff. But I'm going to tell you a website. It's Nom Nom Paleo, NOMNOM. She has a ton of lunchbox ideas. So that's check out. Yeah.
Tell us more about lunch meat, because I think a lot of lunch meats have sugar. So what do you mean when you come to lunch meat?
Okay. Lunch meat, what I look for, a lot of times lunch meat is going to have some type of sugar in it because of the way it was, what the word, I can't think of the way it's processed, but smoked or something like that. So that's not the key thing you're looking at. You're really looking for nitrates. So Costco has a great brand. I mean, they have no nitrate. It's a chicken. That's kind of what you're looking for, is no nitrate.
Okay, somebody else just said about lunch meat, there was a recent study how toxic lunch meat is. But if you're buying no nitrate, like all natural type lunch meat, which is harder to find, that would be what you're looking for. That would not be toxic, correct?
You can go to Whole Foods, Sprouts, things like that, and look if you're worried about. And I'm going to say there are things that are toxic. You cannot change everything at once, but I do look for the most whole brand. We go to Costco a lot, but also if you're at Central Market, something like that, you can get. I think Target has the Applegate brand.
Mm-hmm. They do at Target. Yep.
Target has that. That's a good brand too. If you're worried, that's another thing. Tacos are great. Anything like that, I wrap everything in lettuce.
And my family loves it. It's so good. I love doing that. And hey, as far as lunches too, if you're like those soups, like when I make that sweet potato soup, my older girls can use the microwave so they can warm their soup up. But for my younger one, I just warm it up and put it in a thermos for her. I mean, my kids are always taking leftovers to school for their lunches. So
we do chicken salad too. I'll make I double my mayonnaise and I'll make a huge thing of chicken salad, and we will eat on that for lunches for several days, and we just serve it on top of lettuce.
Y'all, Kim's chicken salad recipe, it's on her blog. It is so good. I'm telling y'all, it's so good.
It is. It's so yummy. And you do use that homemade mayonnaise, but that homemade mayonnaise, even I can make. It's so easy. And it's really good.
I was so scared. People, they worried me because it was all these things about how to mess up mayonnaise. I've only had one person mess up this recipe, and I don't know what she did. She used a weird, were you with me, Jana, when she kept texting me? It was avocado oil that was like bright green.
Yeah, you told me about it, yeah.
Oh my goodness, but I've not had one other person that messed it up. So it's easy.
It's very easy to make, and it's so good.
Nice.
Somebody asked about macronutrients, Kim. I don't even know what that is.
I'm not into a lot of macronutrients. I know some people are starting to do that. I know some bodybuilders and stuff. I don't know a lot about it. I'm sorry. I just stick to real food. I could do more recipe. I mean, I could do some research and get back with you, but I'm not real familiar. I'm sorry. There's a search bar on my blog. There's not a ton of recipes just because I don't have time to blog very much, but there are some, and you can just type in recipes. And there's even some old, like my old school ones back when I used to eat bread.
All right. Are we good? Anybody else got any questions?
Is it okay in lunches with an ice pack? Okay, do not worry about the raw egg and mayonnaise. Yes, it is okay with a ice pack. That's how we take it.
Sorry, guys. I'm over here coughing up a lung.
No, are you talking about your Facebook page blog? No, you have to click on the actual blog for recipes.
It's simplydomesticblog.com.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Terry Paxton, would you mind closing us in a word of prayer? And then if we want to stick around for an after party, we can. It's a little late tonight, but if anybody wants to, we will.
All right. Lord, we just thank you for this evening. Wow, Lord, we just thank you for the knowledge of these women. We thank you for this group of people that can come together, that we can learn so much about our bodies and the way that you created us to eat so that we can be healthy, Lord. And I thank you also for our leaders, for Jana and Amber. Lord, I pray that Jana would start feeling better soon. We thank you that Amber's voice is back. Lord, I just especially thank you for this tool called Plexus that you have put into our lives, that we can use it to help people improve their health, help improve their finances, Lord, but especially help us to use it as a tool to further your kingdom. Lord, I pray that as we start our days tomorrow, that we would bring you glory in our actions and our words and our thoughts. We just praise you, Jesus, for all that you've done for us. In your precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, I'm off of here, guys. I'm going to go get some rest.
Bye, friends.
See y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.